guy. B, I know I speak Cantonese. I know you might be surprised. C, I can laugh at myself. One other thing about comedy is that as a performer, people must like you. If I don't like you, no matter how funny you are, I'm not going to find you funny at all. Now, we all know, the first 30 seconds are the first impression people have about you and everything. But very often, even when you do, trying to be funny, doing jokes and all that, it's that first, just the initial, the niceness, just coming on like, hey everyone, thank you very much, that little smile, the little happiness of just sharing. So very often, before I even come on stage, my mentality is I am thankful for having this opportunity to come and speak and have people listen to me. I mean, how often is someone going to pay money to listen to you talk? Right? It doesn't happen every day, but they're giving me a chance. So I feel thankful for that. And that kind of automatically rubs off to the audience. They feel like, you know what? He's a nice guy. I like him. I want to listen to what he says. He's even funny, even better. Let me keep listening. So once you have that, you start off like that, and people like you, then anything you say is funny. Anything, You can just call, hey man, you have no hair, ha, it's funny. Because they like you, right? So we talked about setup, punchline, that's the basic formula. The writing where you have to force yourself. Why I say 10 things is because usually in one sitting, when you write 10 things, you're kind of stuck at 8 or 9. The 10th thing is the funniest, because that's the new creative perspective that you came up with. That is what is funny. Very often, we stop at number 7, number 8, because we're like, you know what, I tried. No, really just squeeze it out. There's a very funny comedian called Jerry Seinfeld. Anybody heard of Jerry Seinfeld? This guy is fantastic. He can squeeze anything out of anything, This is ridiculous. And I admire him because he basically takes something we all know, we all see, and he just makes a whole different story out of it. And then he says it, you're like, how did he see it that way? That's crazy. This is hilarious. How come I never noticed that, When you say it, people are like, oh yeah, me too, For example, a lot of times when I do workshops, I say, okay, let's write 10 things we all hate. People will write 10 things. Chances are, 10 things I hate, everybody else hates as well. But they didn't write it. But when I say it, they agree with me. For example, how many people here hate it when you take a taxi and they don't give you the 50 cents back when you pay it? Right? That is annoying. That is irritating. The worst thing for me, I'm a cheap guy. I carry a whole bag of 50 cents ready. I'm like, 50 cents, man, That's the thing. So when I say that, everyone's like, yeah, me too, I hate that as well. So now we have that idea of like, you know what, I hate it, you hate it, so let's talk about it, it can be funny, So we have a lot of these common ideas that we just need someone to remind us about. So again, set up punchline, thinking of ideas, really just make it creative, force yourself to write so much that you're forcing it out in a way, And then also at the same time, like I said in the beginning, the pauses. I'll talk about pauses later on when we go into the performance techniques and everything more. But so we've got the writing. Now another thing is that everyone has their own style. With any sort of presentation, any sort of speech, everyone's got their own style, right? Kenneth has his own style, Jimmy has his own style, I have my own style. In my opinion, a person's style is the most valuable thing you have. Because people cannot buy a style. You must get that person to give me his style, right? People cannot suddenly say, you know what, I need you to be just like Jerry Seinfeld and say something funny like him. It won't happen. Unless I copy him, but that's pointless, right? So your own style. Now, how would you find out your style in many things? At least for me in comedy, one thing I realized is that all I have to do is study what I like. Who are the comedians I find funny? And from that, I can start realizing, you know what, yeah, that's my style. I like really silly, stupid things. To me, Zhao Xingqi is like God. I love this guy. Oh, I understand what you were saying about this guy. I understood a lot of that Mandarin. You said he's ugly, right? You said Zhao Xingqi's ugly. That's what's good. Oh, come on. Don't mess with me. But the thing is, like, for me, I like a lot of really pointless, silly, just what's the point of listening to this rubbish kind of humor? I just want to laugh. I think it's hilarious, So in my comedy, a lot of it, you listen to it, you laugh, and you're like, oh, I didn't feel like I never grew as a person. But I had a good time. So that's my style. That's how I realized it, was watching a lot of comedy, going like, I like him. I don't like him so much. I like him. Okay, he's a waste of time, but I enjoy his humor. So find your own style, because as you write, you will start realizing that is your style, and you'll be writing for that style. If you realize you like very serious styles, you want to come up on stage and be like, hi everyone. Thank you very much, I'm done. That could be your style. Some people are very shy, you know. They're like, oh, hey everyone, hey, hey. No, don't laugh, I'm not there. So you can have that. Everyone's got their own style, but you need to know. Once you know your style is a certain style, embrace it, and you will not be afraid of like, oh, I shouldn't say, oh, okay, no, you know. Your style is your style. Sometimes having a little bit too shaking your hand, being nervous is funny. We have a comedian who won last year's English. He's a Chinese comedian. His English is extremely bad. It's very poor, but he won because of that, because it was so funny. Right? Who wants talent anymore? But let me give you an example. Okay, so he's a little chubby guy. He speaks very poor English. He's like, well, hi everyone. Okay, today we'll talk the jokes. Okay, sir, can you tell me your name? Jimmy. Oh, can you talk slower? However, if I came up like, hey man, what's your name? And you say Jimmy, I'm like, oh, could you talk a bit slower? People would think I'm retarded. Right? It works for him because he embraced that style. That's his style. He's that little young kid. Hey everyone, hello, nice to meet you. I can't be like, hey everyone, nice to meet you. Everyone's like, you're an idiot. So another thing, your style. Once you have your own style, you will start writing that way. People will know you for your style. Oh yeah, I love his style. You know, he's something about him that I really like. And once you have that, you will start writing. You'll be performing with that style. And people will become your fans because of your style. Just like people in Hong Kong, like Jiwa, Zhang Dameng, all these people like them for their style. They want to go watch a show because it's him. Not because he's super funny, but because I like his style. Very often, there was a show on TV called Talking Funny, which hosted 4 comedians. Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock, Louis C.K., and Jerry Seinfeld. Talking Funny, it's very, very good. These 4 guys were talking about just comedy in general. And one of them gave the idea of like, do people come to watch, to hear what you have to say because it's you? Or do they come because they think you're funny? And 9 out of 10 times, people come because it's you. They like your style. They like you. They want to come and be entertained by you. Even if I told you there's another comedian next door much funnier, they will still say, no, I like this guy. You know, even if someone told me, oh, you know what, Zheng Dameng is funnier than Wang Jiwa, I might say, you know what, I want to go watch Wang Jiwa, just because I like them more. You know, that sort of thing. You like someone for their style, for their personality, you will want to support it, and you'll want to enjoy it. It's a reverse thing. Once people start to know you, or they like your style, they will come and be ready, like, you're going to make me laugh, man, all right, let's go. You will have that, you know, but whereas if it was reversed, you know, people don't know who you are, they're like, all right, make me laugh. That's how it's all style, right? You can ask Kenneth, we've had many, many shows, we have people in the audience just sitting there go like, and they're holding their laughter. They're like, it happens. But when people like you, they will, you know, he deserves me to laugh at his stuff, you know. So that's another thing, the pauses and everything. Another thing is that have the habit of always carrying a notebook with yourself. Because another thing I realized with writing humor stuff and comedy and everything, it doesn't happen because I sat down and decided I'm going to write something funny. It doesn't happen that way. Very often I cannot be staring at a window and say, what's funny about a window? Let me write it, you know. It doesn't happen. But I get a lot of funny ideas just in general life because I say, that's pretty interesting. Okay, that's pretty funny. And when you gather all those things together, digest it, and then come back and use that together. When you rewrite it, then you will write something funny. Let me give you a good example. I talked about the shoe polishing and all that, right? So another thing I realized is that in Hong Kong, a lot of the motorcycle delivery men in Hong Kong don't wear helmets. The Indian motorcycle delivery men, they have a turban on. They don't have helmets on. So one thing I realized is that legally in Hong Kong, you do not need to buy a helmet if you have a turban. Oh, it's true, you know. And now, one thing I have a whole bunch of running jokes about my dad. My dad is the cheapest guy in the world. So I thought, wait, that's pretty funny. What if I applied that concept onto my father? You know, let's say I was talking about my life story, you know, and I said, you know, my dad is so cheap. He drives a motorcycle. Now, we are Hindus. We don't have a turban.